وأولى نقاط بوسطن أيضا بتصويبة ثلاثية، يعقبها مباشرة وقت مستقطع بيطلبوا بوسطن سيلتكس. تايم أوت. انتهى الوقت المستقطع، عودة لاستئناف اللقاء. 63-54، فرق 9 نقاط. تصويبة ثلاثية لكل فريق مع بداية كورتر ثالث. نيكولا يوكيتش أكثر اللاعبين في
This is Audible.
Blackstone Audio presents There Are No Children Here by Alex Kotlowitz. To my mother and father. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Langston Hughes. Ah, what would the world be to us if the children were no more? We should dread the desert behind us, worse than the dark before. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Preface. I first met Lafayette in Faro Rivers during the summer of 1985. Lafayette was then 10. Faro was 7. I was working as a freelance journalist at the time, and had been...
This is Audible.
Penguin Random House Audio presents A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Read for you by the author.
To Michelle, my love and life's partner, and Malia and Sasha, whose dazzling light makes everything brighter. Oh, fly and never tire. Fly and never tire, fly and never tire. There's a great camp meeting in the Promised Land. From an African-American spiritual. Don't discount our powers. We have made a pass at the infinite. Robert Frost, Kitty Hawk. Preface. I began writing this book shortly after the end of my presidency, after Michelle and I had boarded Air Force One for the last time and traveled west for a long-deferred break. The mood on the plane was bittersweet. Both of us were drained, physically and emotionally, not only by the labors of the previous 8 years, but by the unexpected results of an election in which someone diametrically opposed to everything we stood for had been chosen as my successor. Still, having run our leg of the race to completion, we took satisfaction in knowing that we'd done our very best, and that however much I'd fallen short as president, whatever projects I'd hoped but failed to accomplish, the country was in better shape now than it had been when I'd started. For a month, Michelle and I slept late, ate leisurely dinners, went for long walks, swam in the ocean, took stock, replenished our friendship, rediscovered our love, and planned for a less eventful but hopefully no less satisfying second act. And by the time I was ready to get back to work and sat down with a pen and yellow pad, I still like writing things out in long.
This is Audible. Kids are obsessed with dinosaurs, and every kid has a special favorite that they'll be able to tell you all about.
This is Audible.
The Tao of Pooh by Benjamin Hoff. Narrated by Simon Vance. Copyright 1982 by Benjamin Hoff. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Trustees of the Pooh Properties, care of Curtis Brown Group Limited and Benjamin Hoff, and was produced in the year 2012.
This is Audible.
Penguin Random House Audio presents How to Avoid a Climate Disaster The Solutions We Have and the Breakthroughs We Need by Bill Gates. Read for you by Will Wheaton, with an introduction read by the author. Note to listeners, this audiobook includes a downloadable PDF which contains pictures, charts, and graphs from the printed book. To the scientists, innovators, and activists who are leading the way.
This is the author, Bill Gates. Introduction: 51 billion to 0. There are two numbers you need to know about climate change. The first is 51 billion. The other is 0. 51 billion is how many tons of greenhouse gases the world typically adds to the atmosphere every year. Note, 51 billion tons is based on the latest available data. Global emissions dropped a bit in 2020, probably around 5%, because the COVID-19 pandemic slowed the economy so dramatically. But because we don't know the exact...
This is Audible.
Audible Inc. presents Jefferson and Hamilton, The Rivalry That Forged a Nation. Written by John Ferling. Narrated by Stephen McLaughlin. To Laureen Flanders and all those in the Irvin Sullivan Ingram Library who have provided so much assistance over the years. Preface. The sun
This is Audible.
Highbridge Audio presents Call the Midwife by Jennifer Worth. Read for you.
This is Audible.
Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis, by J.D. Vance. This is J.D. Vance. For Mamaw and Papaw, my very own hillbilly terminators. For Mamaw and Papaw, my very own hillbilly terminators. Introduction. My name is J.D. Vance, and I think I should start with a confession. I find the existence of...
This is Audible.
Harper Audio presents Alex and Me, how a scientist and a parrot discovered a hidden world of animal intelligence and formed a deep bond in the process, by Irene M. Pepperberg. Read by Julia Gibson. Copyright 2008 by Irene M. Pepperberg. Production copyright 2008 by HarperCollins Publishers.
Terminology. A cheat sheet. You don't need to know math to enjoy this book, just a bit of lingo. A code is a fixed relationship between one set of symbols or ideas and another. It can be a very ordinary and everyday thing. Slang is...
This is Audible.
Recorded Books Incorporated presents an unabridged recording of Bridget Jones's Diary by Helen Fielding, narrated by Barbara Rosenblatt. This work is copyrighted 1996 by Helen Fielding. This recording is copyrighted 1999 by Recorded Books Incorporated. Meet Bridget Jones, a 30-something singleton who is certain she would have all the answers if she could A. lose 7 pounds, B. stop smoking, and C. develop inner poise. She lives in the London of the mid-1990s, and this is a year in her life. And now, Bridget Jones's Diary.